Good morning. My name is Josep Fernández. I am the Dean of the Barcelona School of Informatics, and it's my pleasure to welcome you to the Universitat Politécnica de Catalunya, Barcelona Tech, your university, and to welcome you to the Facultat d'Informàtica Barcelona, your school. Just a few words to introduce you the UPC and the Facultat d'Informàtica Barcelona. The UPC is a public university. You are about 30,000 students in 18 schools around Catalonia. And the Facultat d'Informàtica Barcelona, you are 3,100 students, more or less, undergraduate and graduate students, and about 400 staff, between academical staff and technical staff. So, thank you very much to join our university, to think that the UPC can train and to go in your career, to power your career. Enjoy our school, the Facultad d'Informàtica Barcelona. In between the 2 years, I think you will be with us, and enjoy Barcelona for the students you are coming from other countries. So, Oscar Romero, I think more of you know about Oscar because he's the person in charge of the graduate programs. Introduce you in the main topics that you need to know to start your program there is. Welcome to the faculty, the school, and welcome to Barcelona. Thank you.
So thank you very much, Josep. So welcome everybody. So this is a welcome session. So first of all, welcome. My name is Oscar Romero. I'm the Vice Dean of Postgraduate Studies. So you know that the masters have a coordinator, but some of the masters, the coordinator is myself, but for some others not. But in any case, above the coordinators is myself. So whenever you have any trouble or problem, it's good that you know me, because it's the last person that you should reach in case of problems, okay? Hopefully not, but just in case, so it's good that you know me. So what I'm going to talk about is about the FIP Masters. If you are here, it's because you are enrolled in one of these. Just for the context, while you are studying at FIP, just to let you know that we have a Master in Artificial Intelligence, one in Informatics Engineering, another one in Innovation and Research in Informatics. This one has specializations, the 4 that are described here. The Master in Data Science, and then tightly related with the masters that I just mentioned, there are 2 European masters. The Erasmus Mundus Master in Big Data Management and Analytics, that is the sibling of the Master of Data Science, and the European Master in High Performance Computing, that is the sibling of the High Performance Computing specialization of MIRI. Okay? So all the masters are quite different, they have different approaches, so my objective today is twofold. First, to let you know where to find all the relevant aspects to have a successful 2 years here, okay, or 1.5 if you are in May or May, right? And the other aspect is as well to let you know that there are a lot of interesting activities that you can do as part of your master. This is something that I think is one of the strengths of this faculty, and that's why I like also to strengthen them, and just to let you know there are options you can use during these years. So roughly speaking, this is what I'm going to talk. It's important that you devise an academic path, and I will explain in details what this means. Our administrative services, one of the persons that are here is Monse, that you will know her most probably. And Monse is one of the people, the team behind the administrative services. And then I will focus mainly in these services that the faculty excels on. Basically 2 of them, internships. We are pretty powerful in this sense, and people who are willing to have internships is pretty easy, and I will tell you how. And also mobility. Mobility is also a very good milestone in your CV that companies, organizations, research institutions appreciate very much, okay? And we have a lot of options there. As well, since our masters are very well appreciated by companies, we have quite a lot of grants specific for FIP that you may want to apply. I will give you more details about them. And finally, we are also a very strong faculty on research and innovation. Just for the record, UPC and FIP especially is one of the top faculties in Europe luring funding, from the European projects, which are the top research and innovation projects in Europe. and we have a strong participation there. So it's very easy to participate in research while you're here, and of course, social life, right? And there are a lot of events happening around the masters. So before starting, one big disclaimer, because in my experience as Vice Dean, many times there is a misconception from students that lead to a lot of problems. The first one is that we do not send communications out. Many times students are expecting us to send an email, do this. We are not going to do that. You are master students, you are grown-up people. So we expect you to read the regulations, to know what you need to do, and do it yourself, okay? So we are not reaching out. So please, this means that it's important that during the first weeks, you check what is the academic calendar, the regulations in place for your master. I will give you the details now where to find all this, okay? The pre-enrollment period and the enrollment period. You now, as first semester students, you did an enrollment which is pretty static, no? All of you are following the same courses. At most, you are part-time and then you took just a subset, but this is the biggest difference you can find. But when the elective courses arrive, the enrollment is a thing. And it's important you understand why, okay? Also the regulation for internships and mobility. There are regulations for this, and they are strict. They cannot be adapted. We are not going to negotiate these regulations, so it's important you know them as well, okay? So please, as a homework after this talk, please carefully check all these materials, and do not hesitate to contact us if you have questions that you may have after reading the information. So what I mean with the academic path. So in the website of the faculty, if you go to the masters, and let me just do it for the record with one of them so you see what I mean. So in our website, you will find here the masters. So if you check any of them, you will find here all the details that you need to follow for the master, right? So there is information on the enrollment, the curriculum, academic regulations, the regulations specific for the master thesis, the timetables and the exams. For example, if you go to the curriculum, you will see here a proposed path. This is a proposed path. It does not mean to be exactly what you need to do, right? At the end, you need to adapt, because there are some students here that are doing the master part-time, some others are doing full-time, so it's not going to be exactly the same, okay? Or there might be interest that may happen that you want to change a bit the schedule. What is mandatory is that you always try to finish the mandatory courses as soon as possible. This is my main advice, okay? Remove the mandatory courses, because the mandatory courses have a lot of conditions afterwards. For example, if you want to start the master thesis or whatever, if you don't finish the mandatory courses, you cannot do that, okay? So there are some other courses, especially electives, that it's good that you have done one of the mandatory courses. That's why my advice is finish the mandatory courses as soon as possible. And typically in all the masters, you can do this in the first year for sure, okay? So besides the path, here you have information about the enrollment that you already did, but you know now the process, right, how it works. The difference is that in the future for the enrollment, according to your performance during the semester, that is marks matter, okay, you will have a rank. So all the students of a master are ranked according to the performance in the previous 2 semesters, okay? So then when you come the time to choose the elective courses, people with higher rank choose first. And why this is important? Because the elective courses tend to be smaller courses, okay? Because they are typically more heavily into the practical side with a lot of activities in the practical side, so they are not 40 or 50 like in the mandatory courses. They are smaller. So not everybody can take all the elective courses, okay? On top of that, being a master studies, not all the courses are given every semester. So it means that a course is given once per year. So that's why I mean that you need to plan ahead. You need to plan which courses you are going to take each semester, because not all of them are available, and you need to have a big plan, just in case that a course is not available when you are able to choose it or whatever. And here it comes to your own decision, right? For example, imagine that there is an elective course that is quite in high demand in your master for whatever reason, and you are very much interested in it. You don't get it this year, you may decide to wait another semester, but you need to wait till the same semester next year, right? So 1 whole year. Other people don't want to do that, and they just choose another course, okay? So my advice is please check what is offered when, and just schedule ahead what you want to do in each semester, Of course, communicate with the coordinator of your master if you have questions. Okay, I don't know what is this course about. I'm not sure if this is going to interest me. Ask. Okay, that's why the coordinators are there, just to answer your questions. And here in the timetables, you will have also the information of the mandatory courses, but you see there are also elective courses here. And you can see if they are available now, it means that they are offered in the autumn semester. If they are not available, it means that this is in the summer semester, right? In the spring semester, right? So you can know when a course is offered or not, just checking the timetables, okay? Finally, another important thing is that whenever you do an enrollment, you need to guarantee that the exams of these courses do not overlap. This is common sense, right? You would not believe how many people choose courses with exams overlapping. And this is a problem at the end. Because if you cannot take an exam, it means that you need to just give up a course at the very last moment. Exams are always published here from the very first day before your enrollment. Exams are always available, always. Okay? You are safe now because all the mandatory courses, for sure, they are guaranteed they don't overlap. But be careful with electives. Okay? So it's important that you check here the exams, and also you will see that in our calendar we have midterm exams and final exams. Not all the courses do midterm exams. So many courses at the master level use the midterm exams week for deliverables, practices, labs, things like that. Okay, but some of them do really use it for exams. And exams you need to do them. There is no way to escape. Okay, so be sure that there is no overlapping. This is important. Okay, just to avoid problems of a course that you may need to give up at the last moment. I will talk about the academic regulations later, because this is important. Just let me skip it for now. So what is important with the takeaway message is what I said. You will have in the website a tentative schedule. This is, for example, the one for the Master of Data Science, but this does not mean that this is carved in stone. You can adapt it. So plan ahead. Choose here the blue slots that are the electives. Think now what you want to do. Of course that when you are doing the master, you may change your mind. And you may decide to do a course that now is not interesting for you, and maybe later it just raises some interest for you. Of course, this is legit. But plan ahead. Plan ahead, because this is the typical problem that you may find, okay? I put here some other hints and tips. By the way, this is being recorded, so we will make it available later, so you can just go through this presentation later in case you have questions. But remember the two things that I said about the courses offered 1 per year and the maximum number of seats per course, okay? So this means that you need to prepare. Other questions that I get. Can I work while studying? Absolutely yes. You need to be aware that it's possible to do a master part-time. Okay, so if you remember when you were enrolling, there was a question there that says, are you going to go full-time or part-time? Okay, the system is going to ask only once, the first time. But then later, if you want, just contacting the secretariat, you may want to change it. Of course, you will need to do a procedure that eventually reaches me and needs to be accepted, right? It's not immediate, but this can be changed. Okay, we accept them as long as you show common sense. If you are changing every semester, come on, just think twice, no? But if you are legitimately, after 1 year full-time, changing part-time because you are starting an internship or working or a research project, that's fine, okay? What is the point to go part-time? If you go part-time, it means that at most you can do 18 ECTS per semester. For the record, full-time is 30, right? So it means that roughly speaking, we are talking about 3 courses, 6 ECTS, roughly speaking, okay? So in part-time, what happens is that then you get an extra semester to finish your master. Okay, of course, because you are going slowly, right? So there is an academic regulation that I will enter later that you have a maximum amount of semesters to finish the master. It means that you cannot be just dangling your finishing forever and ever, right? But if you are part-time, you get some extra time, okay? Another question is, can I get courses from other masters? I'm doing the master in artificial intelligence and I'm interested in this course in the master MIRI. Is that possible? Some masters allow this and some masters do not. How to know? Just go to this website. When you are here at the bottom where you see this figure, below you will see the options. And the master will tell you if you can take courses from another master. In any case, if you apply to a course in another master, the coordinator needs to approve it. Okay, because at least it needs to show some relation with what you are doing. Of course, you cannot just completely change. But the thing is that all of our masters are computer science masters, so They are pretty similar. But you can do that with a master from the, I don't know, Faculty of Mathematics. So that's why typically where the coordinator checks if what you are choosing makes sense or not. Okay? But this option is there. The only cons is that since this doesn't depend fully on us, because typically when the master is in another faculty, we need to contact them to see if there are available seats, it means that typically you don't enroll these courses at enrollment time. You need to do it afterwards via modifying your enrollment, okay? When I will show you now the academic steps or procedures before besides the enrollment, you have another one, this is modifying your enrollment, okay? Which can be done in a certain period. So typically is when the other courses from other masters is included, okay? Some masters are allowed to recognize your academic, your professional experience working. Some do not. We'll explain now how to check this up, okay? Some of them allow external activities to be recognized, some do not, okay? So how to know this? Again, you need to check specifically the regulations of your master, okay? And my last advice, the master thesis needs to be prepared well in advance. In our masters, in most of them, if you have realized, our master thesis is 30 CTS. It's a whole semester typically, okay? With exception of MI, which is 18, okay? But nevertheless, what happens in MI in the end is that even if it's 18, it tends up to be a similar 30-ish master thesis, right? So master thesis is something serious in our masters, and people take it very seriously. Commissions take it very seriously, and your advisors will take it very seriously. So my advice is, if you are planning to do it in a semester X, the previous semester you should already be arranged. So start talking during the year that you are seeing courses and you like a course or whatever, start talking to your lecturers. Or try to find for a company that is interested in your topic, whatever you want, but plan ahead as well the master thesis. Because the master thesis has 2 milestones. Once you have accomplished the mandatory courses and a certain amount of elective courses, depending on the master again, you can then register the master thesis. What does it mean to register the master thesis? It means that you are allowed to start working on it, okay? And you can do this typically after the first year of the master, typically, okay? What is the enrollment of the master thesis then? The enrollment of the master thesis is simply saying that you are going to defend the thesis in that semester. And this is, again, a misconception of the students. You assume that you can start working on the master thesis when you enroll it. Not true. You can start working your master thesis when you register it, okay? Registration means a title, an abstract of what is going above, roughly about the topic, and an advisor. Okay, this is what you need to agree on. And you can start discussing this as soon as you want, okay? But when the time arrives, register always 1 semester before enrollment, at least, okay? With this, you will see that the master thesis will smoothly flow and you will not have problems. Otherwise, I have always, every year, people just panicking, I will not finish on time because I didn't register on time, and then now I cannot enroll on time. Because you will see that in the regulations that you need to register 1 semester before enrolling, okay? Why do we do that? Because we want you to carefully think about your master thesis, to choose someone and some topic that you are going to stretch it. And then you start working for a whole semester, but you need to prepare ahead, okay? So please carefully check all this to avoid problems. So besides that, some courses, all the courses officially must be followed at RACO. RACO is our official internet, okay? So you have here the URL, and you can just log in with your credentials from the faculty. But some other courses will use other platforms. They will tell you, duly inform you the first day of the course. What are these platforms? Typically Atenea. Atenea is a Moodle, right? It's the one from UPC. But other courses more specialized in programming or databases, they use LearnSQL or Juge. There are two platforms that you may want to use or you may need to use, okay? Nevertheless, you will always be informed beforehand, okay? About the academic calendars, this is also an important thing to take into account. If you go to the academic calendars website and you check the master degrees, you here have the whole academic calendar. So it means when you know now when there are lectures, when there are no lectures, when the master thesis are going to be defended, in which week, you have absolutely every information. So let's say now that you are planning a trip with your friends for a weekend, choose a weekend and a Monday or a Friday that there are no lectures or it's free for going. Because if you just come to a lecturer and say, I have a trip planned and I cannot attend this deliverable, this whatever, they are not going to accept it. Okay? But this information is here, so you can accommodate it. Just accommodate your personal trips or personal situations with the whole calendar published from day one. This was available even before enrollment, and every year will be, okay? Before enrollment, it will be available. And finally, I told you before that there are coordinators of each master besides my figure itself. So here you have the coordinators with the emails to contact them. I myself, I'm the coordinator of the BDMA Erasmus Mundus and the Master of Engineering Informatics. But for all the others, you see that MIRI, each specialization has a different coordinator. Okay. I would say it's important that whenever you plan some doubts or problem, you should contact your coordinator. And the good thing is that all your coordinators are going to lecture you through your master. They are in your master. Okay? They are lecturers, so just take your time to talk to them. It's important you have a good relationship with them. I find sometimes that depending from where you come to your bachelor, you are very shy to talk to your lecturers. That's a mistake. Talk to them. It will make your life much easier, okay? So don't hesitate to question whatever you have any doubt about the master you are taking. So later at the end, we will have questions if you have any. Let me just go through the rest of the presentation. So what I want to discuss now is administrative services, because there are quite a lot of material out there that might help you. The first pack is for those of you coming from abroad. UPC published what is called the Welcome Pack. Here you have information how to move around the campus, about the local culture in Barcelona, just to facilitate your integration in the city. Okay. The information that is interesting, so that if you are a student that were not studying before in UPC, it might also be interesting for you, because it tells you how the campus is organized and all this kind of stuff that is always interesting. Another interesting thing that they do is the orientation week. The orientation week is especially suggested for international students, because it's a way to introduce you to other students that are in the same situation, so it's easy that you mingle, meet people, and you start creating personal bonds with others, which is also important. And also, especially this is for the students in May, but also for any other person who would be interested. In May is the only master that it's taught in Spanish and Catalan, okay? Some courses are in Spanish, some courses are in Catalan. So there are some people who are native in Spanish, but not in Catalan. So my advice is that you take any of these courses that are offered by UPC. They are intensive courses that you will finish in a few weeks. You will have the basics to follow the courses in Catalan. So knowing Spanish, learning Catalan is pretty fast, okay? I mean the basics to understand. So here you have also resources that might be interesting for you. And this is the main part that I want to discuss with you today. You see that the Secretariat of the faculty publishes all the administrative procedures online. So if you click this link, and you just choose here master's degree, and you just choose, I don't know, any of the topics that you have here, typically how to produce certificates, that sometimes you need certificates to apply to a mobility, to a job or whatever, how to get them. Validations and recognitions, if you want to recognize a course. Remember that validations and recognitions are only at the master level. You cannot recognize something at the bachelor level. This is by law, because they are at two different levels of learning. Enrollment, mobility, and the final degree certificates when you are done. Okay? So for example, if you go to enrollment, you will see all the things that you can do here. Enrollment and group changes. You see, you can request group changes from Monday 2 to Tuesday 3rd. Okay? That was the period to change a group if you were not satisfied with it. And so on and so forth. There are all the information here about all the administrative procedures. Always keep an eye on this website, because you will know the deadlines. Whenever you do something that it's out of time, what you need to do is to request it via e-secretaria. There is a procedure to request, and you always need to choose to request to the Vice Dean, which is me, and then we will analyze the case, but this is a case by case, and typically I don't accept things if you have not done your job at the right time, okay? So it's not that it's a way to escape and you can just miss deadlines. Deadlines are there for a reason, right? But obviously there are a lot of circumstances that can happen to a person that we will consider, okay? that's clear. So here you have all the information for all of them, how to generate certificates. This is not yet there, but mobility, I don't know if it's here yet. Yes, okay. So you will see that there are actions, procedures that you need to do do via the links that are provided here. Let me take advantage to justify why we have pre-enrollment and enrollment separated. This is not for you now, because you are starting and taking the mandatory courses, but what I told you, the elective courses, some of them are on high demand, right? So what we do is that a few weeks, I think it's 1 or 2 weeks before the enrollment itself, okay, we ask you to do a pre-enrollment, which is basically state your preferences. Why do we do that? Because we want to know how you are going to distribute in the elective courses. Knowing this information, we can play with it. We can try to open more positions in a course. We can try to move positions from one master to another, because sometimes there are courses that are shared so that people can choose what they prefer. It's very interesting information for us, just to facilitate that all of you can take what you want. So please do the pre-enrollment. It's extremely important, okay? The good thing is that in the pre-enrollment, you can guarantee some courses that will be available for you in the enrollment, okay? We also do this. Not obviously for the whole enrollment, but there are always like, choose your preference, let's say, right? And this is something that when the time arrives, checking the information here, and also with the information that we will provide, you should be able to just express what you prefer to do. This will be your pre-enrollment, and then later you do the enrollment itself, okay? Then it might happen that you have questions. So we have also what is called face-to-face appointments with the Secretariat. Just follow this link, and you can just have an appointment with one of the members of the administrative services that will help you in whatever problem you may have. What we suggest is that please read always the material. If the doubt is small, try sending an email to InfoMasters, right? Which is our main contact email to the administrative services of the masters. And if you cannot solve it by email, it's typically when then it's worth to do an appointment, okay? If there is more difficulty, or it's worth to really communicate in a clearer manner. So some other tips. You may know that there is an office for mobility at UPC that may help you for students who come from abroad, just to do all the legal aspects of your stay here, okay? I mean, if you need to just register in the city, the famous empadronamiento and all these kinds, they tell you how to do it. You need to do it in the city council, but at least they inform you how. As I said, please read the administrative regulations, read the information about your master, be aware of it, keep a fluent communication with your coordinators and your lecturers. And also, to start the administrative procedures, most of them are via e-Secretariat that you already know, because it's when you start the enrollment as well. If you have doubts, contact us, okay? I mean, we are really here to help. But just realize, as the dean said, you are a lot of students nowadays in the faculties. The Faculty of Informatics is growing a lot. So we need to keep deadlines, because otherwise it's impossible to manage, okay? So that's why I do really ask you, please follow deadlines, follow the procedures to make life easier to everybody, okay? So I don't know if you are aware that the UPC card now is digital. So to get it, you need to download an app from Google Play or at the App Store, and then you will just get your card in your phone. This is important because I guess that you know that there are a lot of interesting services. For example, you can just go to the library and book a room to study with your friends. They are small rooms where you have a board, you have a projector, and you can just, I don't know, rehearsal, discuss, brainstorm. This is interesting, and sometimes you are not aware of it. So just have a look. It's interesting that you see all the services that are provided. The libraries do a very nice job providing services for students. Check them up. And you need, for example, the card to enter and access all this, right? Sorry. And for the UPC folder, you can get it. Well, you saw that here there were a lot of people already getting the folder. So maybe you can get it at some point during these days to get your UPC folder. Also for the record, UPC has an inclusion and gender offices, and we do take this seriously. So it means that if for whatever reason you think that you apply or you may have issues, for example, support to disability, psychological well-being, there are psychologists that are offered by the university that you may get appointments with them if you are getting through some rough time or whatever. Just check them up. Just in case that you think it could facilitate your life, okay? So the other thing that I want to discuss with you is that basically, besides the academic stuff and studying, which is something that I'm expecting from all of you, there are a lot of things that you are typically not aware of, and they are very interesting for your curriculum, right? So the typical thing that, okay, besides academic excellence, things that you can do, and our faculty is very strong in this, is internships, mobility and internationalization, research and innovation, participate in these kind of things, and then the social life around the masters. So let's just start with internships. There is a whole dedicated website for this, and it's at FIP. You see here this link. And then if you go to this website, you see that there is information for companies, for the students, and the regulations, okay? The regulations cannot be changed. Let me insist on this. I don't know why, we always find, especially students that come from out of UPC, that they are happy to work free. We don't allow that. If a company wants to sign an internship, needs to pay. And this is not going to be discussed. I'm not going to accept any internship for free, okay? So please save these emails. I'm not going there. So the thing is that there is an amount of money that it's paid per hour. If I remember, it's 11 euro. 11 euro is the minimum that they need to pay you per hour, and this is the economical aspects that need to be guaranteed by the companies. Most companies in Barcelona know this. They are so super satisfied with our students that, believe me, they will not put any trouble on this. They will happily pay, okay? So don't sell you cheap, okay? And the second thing is that when the company is signing an agreement with us, they also need to tell us what are the tasks you are going to do there. And then the coordinator of master needs to agree on them. This is just to somehow protect you, right? Then there is an agreement between the coordinator, you, and the company. And then the faculty will check this is honored or not. And believe me, this works. Companies take this seriously when they need to write things down, okay? You can avoid doing internships and signing a contract with a company directly. That's perfectly fine, okay? That's perfectly fine. Internships is only when you just are considering to do it part-time. This is when I would suggest to go for them. When you want to do just initiating yourself in the world of companies and so on, you want to try, you want to do part-time some stuff with a company, and you want to feel protected that you are going to get paid and that the tasks are clear, okay? They work very well. The faculty signed more than 2,000 last year, so we signed a lot. Believe me that this is not a problem. If you want to do an internship, you will find it, and especially for the masters that we have here that are all very technological, all the companies are very willing to sign this kind of agreements, because at the end, they are very cheap for them. 11 euro per hour is still cheap, okay? What if I want to do information with or a convention with a company? Sorry. There is a link here where you can find that companies sometimes put them online, but typically they are so volatile that they typically wait people to come, or they wait for FIP Visiona. I don't know what is FIP Visiona. You know what is FIP Visiona? It's this fair that we organize every year that the companies put some stands there and they just offer internships and jobs, right? So my advice is contact the companies yourself, be proactive. I think it's when it works better, right? Because then you can choose the kind of company you want to work on. Another advice, typically you are very much biased towards big corporations. Big corporations are so much organized. It means that you are going to do a very specific and concrete work. Many times startups and companies that are young are much better because you will be wearing a lot of hats. And then is when you learn really, right? So internships sometimes is good to have them in a place where you are going to learn a lot. Don't look at the name of the company itself. It's not the only thing or the only thing you should consider, okay? So there is all the procedure how to follow from here on the procedure if you want to start. Typically is the company. The bureaucracy here is quite small. The only thing is that, and let me tell you this, who organizes all this bureaucracy is the central services of UPC. So it means that after you go through the faculty, this goes to UPC, to central services. So it has some latency, okay? So just always consider that at least 1 month to sign the internship is going to happen, right? Because there are a lot of signatures there. Also, companies typically wait till the very last minute and they forget that there are procedures in the university. So take some time, okay? So now imagine that you have signed an internship, okay? So in our own jargon, this is called CCE, okay? Convenis de Colaboració Universitat Empresa. CCE is an internship for us. So once you have signed it, you can have 2 kinds of them, 2 modalities, extracurricular or curricular. The curricular ones are the ones that you afterwards can claim for elective ECTS in your master. This depends on the master. So there are masters that allow you to claim from 6 to 12, minimum 6, maximum 12, plus the master thesis. The master thesis in all the masters can be done in a company in a curricular manner. All of them allow this, okay, because this is reality. And this is the rule of thumb that you need to follow. 30 hours of work is 1 ECTS. So it means that at least to claim elective credits, you need to do 6 times 30 hours. Less than that, you will not be able to claim ECTS, okay? So there is a minimum, okay, and the maximum as well, 12 times 30. When you go for curricular practices for the master thesis, this is called, in our own jargon again, modality B or D. What is modality B? Is in a company. So many times you can do modality B with your own contract that you signed with your company or with an internship. Why we have D there? D is exactly the same as B, but with a company abroad, okay, when you go with mobility. What are A and C? A is a master with a lecturer in the university, the typical academic one, and C is the same abroad, okay? So it's C and D is always abroad, and they are mimicking A and B, okay? All this information, if you go to for the master thesis regulations, you will see that all these things are explained there. Extracurricular means that you are not getting elective ECTS, but you can do electives, internships. So the only master that doesn't allow to have elective credits from your internships is the Master of Data Science, okay? So from all the others you can claim them, but the master thesis of the Master of Data Science can be done in curricular manner, okay? Then there is a maximum of hours that you can do in internships per year, and this depends on how long is your master. So for masters of 1.5 years, 3 semesters, like May and May, you can do at most 900 hours per semester, per year. And the masters that are 2 years, like MIRI and MBDS, you can do 1,200, okay? Why is that? Why there is a limit here? Because I mean, if you are going above this limit, get a job, okay? Don't do an internship. Because then, again, you are selling yourself cheap, right? If you are just doing a lot of hours, ask for a contract, okay? Also, if you have professional experience related with the master, before entering the master or during the master, you can claim for elective ECTS for all the masters but MDS. So, and here the rule is a bit different. 1,600 hours are equivalent to 6 credits and then proportional from here, okay? So you can also claim elective ECTS from your professional experience. Obviously, if you've been a vet or you've been, I don't know, working in arts, this is not going to fly, right? It needs to be related to your master's, or at least computer science. Okay? Another interesting thing, we are pushing a lot in the faculty for mobility and internationalization. And I think that here FIP has a very special and unique position. First, because we are a university with a lot of reputation internationally, and at the European rankings, we are always among the best. So it's easy for us to sign these kind of agreements. But also because Barcelona has a big momentum with foreign students that also want to move here. So for us, it's very easy to sign agreements. And the truth is that we have signed agreements with 205 different universities in the world in 42 different countries. I mean, you can move wherever you want, okay? This is the good thing about this. And because the Vice Dean of Mobility is not here, but probably otherwise, if you meet her, you will see that she will tell you that mobility is an experience in life. Of course, it has an academic aspect, and you cannot deny this. But it's interesting to listen to her, because then she explains, after all the experiences that she has witnessed, that sometimes the biggest experiences or people more happy is those that try to take more risk, or they just go to Taiwan or Chile or countries that maybe you would not think first time for dual mobility, but they can provide a lot from the personal side, right? And why mobility is interesting for organizations or companies? Because at the moment that you start moving, you need to adapt to new environments, right? And adapting means that you are flexible, that you are a person that will tolerate other things, and you will just mix well with others. As simple as that. And this is important in a world where globalization is just a big thing, right? So consider doing mobility if you can. It's true also that mobility is expensive by nature, especially if you go to some countries in Europe. The good news is that the Erasmus framework now, they raised the amount of money that they offer per month to the students. So it's not the 400 euros that serve for nothing. It was just peanuts, right? No, now it's more. Don't tell me how much, but they told me that it was more money per semester, per month. But still, mobility is something that most probably you need to put money from your side, okay? Depending which country you choose. So it's not cheap. But that's why there are grants associated to mobility as well. So if you are interested with mobility, please be always in contact with the people from mobility, because they organize sessions, information sessions, that they can inform you how you can just get a grant or something to compensate this financial loss you may have doing mobility. We allow to do the study abroad in all the masters. In the masters that are 3 semesters, like May and May, you can only do in May the 30 ECTS of the master thesis, in May the 18 of the master thesis plus 2 courses, okay? So it means that the mobility is going to happen in the 3rd semester for sure, but you need to apply during the 1st year, because mobility has a lot of bureaucracy as well, you will see now, okay? For MDS and MIRI, you can just take all the courses of the 3rd semester plus the master thesis abroad. You can go a full year in these 2 masters, okay? Another thing is that all of you, I'm pretty sure you know Erasmus Plus framework, but there are a lot of frameworks for mobility. And we have frameworks with Latin America, the States, Canada, Japan, China, a lot of countries that it's worth to check and see if it's interesting for you. We also have signed quite a few. This is something we are pushing recently. We have right now in work 5 double degrees, and for next year, it means that for you it applies. We will have 8. And what is the difference between mobility and a double degree? A mobility means that I'm accepted in the University of Edinburgh, okay, in Scotland. I go there for a semester. I take the semester, I come back, then the University of Edinburgh sends your transcript to FIP. FIP incorporate these courses in your transcript, and you get your master, the FIP master. In a double degree, typically you go for a longer period, typically 1 year. So you would go 1 year outside, okay, for example, with the University of Padova for the Master of Data Science, okay? You spend 1 year there, and then you go back, and the good thing is that the University of Padova will accept your courses in Barcelona in their transcripts, and FIP will accept the courses of Padova in the transcripts. And in the end, you have 2 degrees, the one from Padova and the one from Barcelona. So the difference, when you see double degree, it means that you get 2 degrees. When a regular internship, you get 1 degree, the one that you are doing here. Okay, that the transcripts are accepted here as if they were done here. Okay? You can also do internships abroad. What I told you to do a master thesis in a company abroad, this is easy as well. There are a lot of calls that are always open, and another thing that you may not know is that this can be signed by an academic institution. An academic institution can act as a company abroad and do the master thesis there, okay? And of course, industry. But our colleagues from internationalization, they are doing a very good job, and they have a lot of options. You have there the Google Summer Code, the CERN internships that you go to CERN and spend there the summer. They are typical short and in summer, but they can also be an interesting thing. Maybe you don't want to live a whole year or a whole semester, but you are up to living for a 1 month or 1 month and a half. So there are also shorter options, okay? About this, last year we had more than 200 requests. So it means that the students, bit by bit, they are considering mobility, okay? The thing is that you always need to apply for the next year. So people who are moving this year, they applied last year, right? Academic year, I'm talking now. So during this academic year, you will need to apply for moving in the next academic year. You are not going to move in the same academic year. It takes, latency here is huge. So there is a website also for mobility. If you go here and check your master, you will see what are the options and what are also the double degrees that are available for your master, okay? And finally, there are information sessions, always two, one at the middle of the first semester, one at the middle of the second semester, and it's always before the big deadlines of all the big frameworks for mobility. These are the dates for the last year, because we don't have yet the next ones, but there is a link where the new information will appear, and roughly speaking, it's always the same dates. Mid-November, you will have one, and mid-February, you will have the other one, okay? So if you are interested in mobility, please attend these sessions, because they provide a lot of hints about mobility. And we have a dedicated email as well for this, okay? So grants, there is a website where you can just go. The website looks like this. So you have grants and scholarships that companies or institutions are offering to our students. I mean, this is due to the reputation of our masters. Companies is a way that they have to lure students to start working with them. And this is fine, right? But the thing is that always check the conditions of your grant or scholarship before applying. Because some companies will force you to do the internship with them. So, and you will have to do the internship with them. So please check the conditions to see if you are up to them or not before applying to the grant or the scholarship. There are quite a lot, as you can see. We also have a lot of ways to do grants in a more research-oriented way. This is something that you typically don't know either, but this is there from the day one. So if you go to this website, you will find all the learning grants and research grants that the research groups at UPC are making available, okay? So it means that here you can just work with a research group. And I will work now about research and what does it mean in a few minutes as well, but just let you know that research also has its own kind of grants associated, okay? And this is the last step that I wanted to discuss with you. You can also get into research and innovation, and FIP is a good point there because all the lecturers that you will have in your master, all of them, they do research. Especially the profile of lecturer that is in a master is a lecturer who is very much focused on research, right? If someone is not that much into research, typically this person lectures more at the bachelor level. So it's another kind of profile of lecturer that you are going to find in the masters. And these people are always participating in research and innovation projects. What is the difference between research and innovation? Innovation typically means that you are not just bringing something new in the research side, but you are applying it into a company for first time. So some novel development that you now want to apply into the company that the company didn't do before. For example, imagine that now this generative AI thing, a company wants to include it, I don't know how. So this would be innovation, right? Research is that when you really need to advance in the state of the art or some topic. And of course, as a master student, you are not supposed to do research, but to support the research that is done in a research group, okay? As I told you, there are a lot of research groups active at UPC. Whatever thing you are interested in, there is a research group, okay? And the thing is that in a research atmosphere, things are different than in an internship. So internship, you should think of an internship if you are more interested in the industrial aspect. Research is more if you would consider afterwards in some manner to do research in a research institution, or you would like to go to industry but to research institutions. Research institutions in industry now are a big thing, and especially in Barcelona there are quite a lot in the computer science aspects. This is something brand new that didn't happen in the past. For example, when I was a student there was no research in companies, okay? But this luckily has changed. And there are a lot of research institutes in companies and organizations nowadays. So learning how research works can be also interesting because all these big names that you have in mind, like Microsoft, Google, and all these, that they are opening offices here in Barcelona, they typically do it for research, okay? So the best way to learn about research or to taste it is to participate in a research group. So you can complement your stay during the master doing some research tasks that can be, I will tell you that some of these tasks can be considered as elective credits as well. I will tell you how. And basically, these are the areas that you can cover with the research groups in UPC. So there are groups in the area of mathematics, business administration, computer architecture, physics, services and information systems engineering, computer science, operational research and statistics, and then automatics, okay? I put here all the research groups, the names. So you will see, I will not read them all because you see there are 2 pages of research groups. There are a lot, okay? So if you are interested in a research group, what I suggest, first, look for the research group, look for the head of the research group, then just look online what kind of publications they are doing to know what they are working on. Okay? There are dedicated websites like DBLP that you just put the name of a researcher and they will tell you exactly what they are working on, or the Futur. Futur is a website of UPC, Futur, like future, but in Catalan, .upc.edu. If you look for a person there, you will find all the things that this person is doing. Okay, so it's the best way to know what they are doing. Most of these research groups also have contacts with other organizations that are around the faculty, that they have a lot of, they have a big impact in our students, like the Barcelona Supercomputing Center or the InLab. I don't know if you are aware what InLab is, but these are big centers that they do research or innovation, and they are always looking for students. Okay. And all the masters that we have here, they are fully aligned with what they want. Okay? So just click on all this information, get an idea of what they are. And of course, research is not for everybody, but at least make a decision. You know what it is, and then you decide if it's interesting for you or not. But what happens is that many times, many students tell me that they learn that this was an option when they are finishing the master, and they don't have time to react, okay? So that's why I wanted to include this information here. So I want to consider calling for 6 ECTS or 3 ECTS for my master doing research. How to do this? So for the Master in Artificial Intelligence, Data Science, the Master in Engineering Informatics and BDMA, there is a course called Introduction to Research that is still not live. We are finishing doing it. It will be the first time, you will be the first generation that you will be with this course, okay? That will allow you to claim ECTS from this participation. We will duly inform you when this course is ready. But this course basically what entails is that you get in contact with a research group, you agree on a topic for an amount of hours and the tasks. This information will need to be sent via website to the coordinator of the program, okay, that they will accept if this is meaningful or not, okay? And if the hours that you are claiming that you want to do something makes sense or not. Once you are approved, you do the work. And once you are done, you need to produce a report just saying what you did, with a certificate signed by the responsible in the research group saying that you really did it, okay? Then and only then is when you will enroll this course. So this is the only course that you will have that is enrolled at the end. Okay, so you first get the okay, then you get the work, and then finally you enroll. That's why I'm informing you about this, because even if you didn't enroll on this yet, you may consider this for the 2nd, 3rd, or 4th semester, and that could be fine. Okay. If you're a MIDI student, you will not have this course because MIDI already has one of the mandatory courses, which is called CIRI, the seminars, that is exactly the same. That's why MIDI doesn't have this specific introduction to research course, because CIRI is exactly the same. So in CIRI, you need to choose a guided activity and do the research stuff for 3 or 6 ECTS like in the other masters, but under the hood of CIRI, not I2R, okay? And then for social life is basically there is a link as well with all the information about things that are happening. Just to let you know that there are the associations. These are run by students. It's a good way to mingle with people with same interest as you. So you will see which associations are live or not visiting this website. And then these associations, sometimes they do very big things. For example, 2 of them are organizing the Game Jam or the Hack UPC, are fully organized by students, and they are massive work that they do there, and they get a big name with these events, and it's very interesting. Many times when I talk to them and the students that have participated, for example, the Hack UPC, all of them are quite satisfied and happy with the experience. So take a look and learn about what you can do in social life, okay? And that's it from my side. Now I will open the time for questions. Again, if you have any doubt, please take away message, strong connection with your coordinator, a strong connection with your lecturers, talk to them, and just to let you know that in the end, you have the administrative issue, whatever administrative issue, you should resolve it directly with the secretariat, okay? Enrollment issues, pre-enrollment issues, certificates, whatever. The academic issues, when I talk about academic issues is, I'm not sure if this course is interesting for me, what are the topics this is going to cover. If I'm interested in becoming this kind of profile, what courses would be more interesting for me. This is what I mean by academic, right? So related to courses or the topics of the courses, right? And that's it. So from my side, that would be all. Let's start the turn for questions. If you raise your hand, you pose your question, and I will be answering them. Oh yes, just for the record, this is going to be recorded. So if you participate, if you just ask anything, your voice is going to be recorded. Just acknowledge this.
Is it working? Yeah, is it working? Hi, I have a question. I have like 3 questions, but I think that you answered the last 2 at the end. But the first one is about the rank, because I'm the master's in AI, and of course is 3 semesters long, and I don't know if the rank is going to be applied from the 2nd semester or in the 3rd one.
From the 2nd, because you are choosing elective courses already in the 2nd.
Yeah.
So that's why the thing is that instead of considering 2 previous semesters, you only consider the first one, and that's it. The thing is that especially in the masters that are short, like May and May, it's very important that you take into account this.
Yeah.
It's true also that there are a big portion of students that they take an extra semester, because many times in May what happens is that they do research, they do mobility, they do something, and at the end, naturally, you get the 4th semester. Also play with this, because maybe one course can be left for this extra semester or things like that, okay?
That was connected to my other question, because if I'm thinking about mobility or an internship abroad, you mentioned that, for example, I take 2 courses and the master's thesis in Edinburgh, but what about the courses that I was going to be learning in the 3rd semester?
So the courses that you have in the 3rd semester are always elective. So these are courses that you can take away. Abroad, sorry, not away. So it means that if you go to another city and you are just doing there an internship, it's good that there is a university where you can do the
same course.
No, it's an elective course. So it means that elective means that as long as it's related to the master, is fine. So when you do a mobility, typically you have an agreement form, but you sign which are the courses you are going to take, and this is validated by the coordinator. So as long as the course is relevant for your master, it doesn't need to be one of the courses that we have at UPC. It could be something completely different, but related to your Master of Artificial Intelligence in this case.
Okay, but in which case I will need to push another semester because I do mobility abroad.
So what happens in the masters is that typically you don't fail the mandatory courses. Okay, you are fine with this, and typically you know that they are very selective and so on. So mandatory courses tend not to be a problem, okay? So it's only a case if there is an elective course that you like very, very much and you want to do it. It's only that, nothing else. But typically you can just go abroad and do another course, and that's fine for us. As long as it's so there is an agreement for the mobility, as long as this is an agreement between you, the coordinator, and the other university, for us it's fine. It's going to be considered as one of your elective courses.
Okay, thanks.
More questions?
Thank you. I was curious about the Intro to Research opportunity. Does that include some classes as well, or is that just a way to make the research that you're doing at the start of your time here?
Which master are you taking?
The MI.
Okay. MIDI is the master who has natively a mandatory course on this, okay? Because MIDI is very much oriented to research. So some masters can take it as an elective course. For example, MDS or MA can take it. My students typically don't take this course, okay? So for you in this case would be that you directly go to a research group and the training is done by the research group. So I mean, the introduction to research means that when you go to the research group, they are going to do you a small interview to see if you are the match of the profile they are looking for. So in the end, you are going to enter there to participate in the research group, doing some tasks. Typically, the typical task that you do is that you just get paired with a PhD student or someone who is doing a certain research, and you help them. Okay, so the training comes from this side.
Okay, thank you. And just one more question. I'm curious if it's possible to get paid or normal to get paid during research?
Yeah,
or?
yeah. So you have, let me go back to it. When you are doing research, it's not mandatory like in the internships, like I said before. So you could decide not to get paid. My question is that it's up to you to decide this in the case of...
It's nice to get paid.
Exactly. So here you have, where is it now? 1 second, here. You can formalize your research experience with research grants, the ones that I showed you before, right? Or with an agreement as well. So you can get paid for doing research.
What's the CC agreement? That's just a contract, or?
The CCE is our jargon for internships. Okay, these are just an acronym that means internship in Catalan. Okay, that's it. So whenever you see CCE, it's internship.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. More questions?
So, I'm currently working in a company, which I think has a relation with the field, and I'm curious about. You said the internships you get 1 ETC for 30 hours, but you later said that you can have right there during the master, like 1600 hours for 6th grade. So I'm thinking if I currently have a contract, I can get 1 ETC for 30 hours in my current contract.
So if you're doing a contract, you are not doing an internship, right?
Yes.
So you are not under a CCE. So for you, it applies the last one, professional experience. So in your case, what the secretariat is going to ask you is that you send the proof of your contract, a letter from your responsible in the company saying what are the tasks that you are doing there, and then they will compute how many hours you have been working on this. And then they will apply this rule, 1600 hours, 6 credits. So for you, it applies the last part here. The three first ones is for CCEs.
But is it possible to sign an internship in the company that I'm currently working?
No,
so
it doesn't make any sense, right? If you have a contract already.
Well, maybe change the contract for an internship.
No, I would not suggest that. You are going to earn much less money. Well, I mean, up to you, but you are going to just earn much less money, and you can claim the same ECTS. What's the point of doing the change, right?
Well, like I'm doing the master in engineering informatics, and I'm in the company, so I need like 30 ECTS, which at 100 hours for 6th grade, it's like 5 years working there.
Sorry, you are talking about the ECTS you need for, so when you are in I guess that you are part-time, no? You are taking
Yes.
the industrial version of the
Yes.
master of, okay. So when you are doing this, you are taking some courses part-time, so 18 ECTS at most, and then the rest of the time you are working on the company and you are claiming ECTS from there, right?
Yes.
You can claim this ECTS in 2 different ways, via internship or via contract, but you cannot mix both things. Okay. So in your case, I would say go for the professional experience side, and you are safe. You don't need to give up because your company is not going to sign a contract and an internship at the same time. This is not legally correct. Okay. So I would say that if you already have the good conditions of a contract, don't give up in your contract. Okay. So then you need to claim the ECTS with the rule of the 1600 hours.
Okay. Thank you.
Hi. Related to that question, can I can I do the master's thesis on a company with which I have no internship, but a signed contract?
You can have it with a contract, yes. So the way to be in a company can be in 2 different ways: with a contract, okay, or with an internship. Okay? So if you do it with an internship, the way to go through this for the master thesis is modalitat B. Okay? And when you are signing your master thesis and you are going through the process and you choose modality B, at some point the system will ask you, you are coming from an internship or from a contract. If you say a contract, you will need to upload the contract. The secretariat will revise it and then will just give you green light if everything is correct. If it's via internship, there is no such a thing as you need to upload things because you already started a procedure with us, and then this procedure ends up in the registration of the master thesis. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
Hello. Where can I get more information about the last point, the work contract?
No, that's it. I mean, this is the rule. So you have a contract, 1,600 hours is...
Yeah, but like I have had a work contract. Where do I upload that?
So you want to claim them, you mean?
Well, I'd like to look into it, yeah.
Okay, so the thing is that if your contract is related to the topics of your master, just simply need to contact the secretariat and they will tell you what is the procedure, but they will ask you for the contract and they will ask you also for a document from your company stating what are the tasks that you have been done there. This reaches to the coordinator of the master that checks that everything is fine, and once they give green light, then they apply the rule for the hours that you have worked and you get this amount of ECTS.
Okay, thank you.
So related to that, I wanted to ask how related does it have to be your experience to the, so for example, I've been a programmer but not in the field of artificial intelligence, so would that work?
I would say talk to your coordinator.
Okay.
Okay, this is the easiest question,
no
right?
rule.
In general, this is elective ECTS, so it means that it doesn't need to be fully aligned with AI, right? Because AI is just a subfield of computer science, so there are other things that might be related. But in the end, who is going to give you green light or not is the coordinator, so it's better
so
you talk to him directly.
Okay, thank you.
If I have previous experience, I can apply to these credits at any point of the master. Like maybe I don't like any subject and I want to apply these credits at some point. Can I do it like whatever I want?
Yes.
Okay.
Just as always, I remember that it will be some latency to proceed this. Okay, so don't wait till you already passed the master thesis and everything is done. So you know what I mean. Just put some time there. But yes.
And how all of this works doing research?
Sorry again?
How all of this works doing research?
It's the same.
It's the same as an internship.
So the thing is that when you do the research part, if you have signed an internship, a CC with your research group, you can decide two ways to call this ECTS. One way would be via these rules that you have here, or via the I2 research course.
Okay. Okay, thanks.
I would say that if you have already an internship signed, this is easier, because the other one will be more bureaucratic. You will need to produce documents and so on. If you have the internship agreed and you have the hours, this will be more straightforward.
Okay, thanks.
More questions?
This is a bit sideways, and I wonder if you know, but some classes are offered at Universitat Barcelona, and I'm not sure if those begin this week or next week. It's not. It says different things online.
Next week, yeah.
It's
so
next week.
it's Maya and the artificial intelligence. So you are in 3 campuses. UB, you. Yeah. Well, you know, just trying to be positive, huh? So the.
Nice train ride.
Yeah, so when I talked to the students that took they told me that they created very strong bonds with the others because they spent so much time commuting there that at the end they behave like a family, and that's true. This master, they behave like a family, and I think that this is strongly related with this point. About this, I do think that UB is starting next week, and URV is starting even later.
Okay, this is what it says online. In the app for UPC, it says there's classes tomorrow, which was the discrepancy.
Okay. Send us an information with this discrepancy, please,
Okay.
so we identify it.
Okay. I have to get on Raco.
Yeah, Raco is always good that you check it. By the way, in Raco you can activate notifications. So whenever a lecturer puts something there, you will get an email. Okay, so please activate notifications, which is pretty handy. But RACO always should be the way to disambiguate these things. But if you already identified a place where there is a discrepancy, please send us.
Okay, and shall I send it to you or to Ulysses?
To FIP info, you know, this mail, the secretariat. Yeah, I went too fast.
Yeah.
This email here, you know, info masters.
I'll do it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Right now, I have a contract with IRI, the Institute Robotics Institute, but as a robotics engineer. They told me that this counts as a scholarship. I'm getting paid, thankfully. But you mentioned that. Well, what can I do with this? Because I have already signed. Well, I haven't signed the contract, but I have a formal proposition of the contract, and I'm starting this week. But how can I use this? Because it's I think it's a research, because I have the opportunity to participate in the publications of the institute. But I don't know how can I use this, you know, to get some credits or some.
If you already have a contract or an internship, my advice is to go for these roles. This is the least amount of work that you will need to do to get this ECTS.
I'm sorry, which one?
This thing about the rules here. You
Okay.
know that depending if it's an internship or if it's a contract, in your case would be a contract, then would be the professional experience as elective ECTS.
All right.
The work contract part. So as long as you have these 1,600 hours, you will be able to claim 6 ECTS. Okay?
Okay.
This is the easiest way for you if we check the amount of bureaucracy you will need to do.
Okay.
If you want to recognize it with the course that I told you here,
Yeah.
you will need to make a proposal, it will need to be accepted, you will need to do the work, generate more documents, it will be more work from your side. So my advice is, if you already have an internship, or you have a contract, it's better that you recognize the work or the internship, and it will be faster for you.
Okay. And what about if I'm from Ecuador, and I have a remote work there. The work, the professional experience that it's taken into account, it mandatory has to be from Barcelona companies or not?
No. So it's I said it's the coordinator who is going to check this. That's another point. So if you want, what you can do then is to take 12 ECTS from your previous work experience,
Alright.
and then claim 6 more for the course.
Okay.
This can be done.
All right. Because there is a maximum of credits that I claim from the professional experience.
Exactly. Always the maximum is 12 at most.
Okay.
From the professional experience. And this is a course. Introduction to Research is a course. Okay.
All right. Thanks.
Hi. Relating to the previous point, I'm also in AI, and the university in Tarragona has multiple campuses, and I'm not sure which one of them we have classes in. Do you know that?
I don't know. But you know that there is a coordinator from URB participating there. I mean, if you don't have this information, I mean, in RACO it should be all this there. Eh? Yeah, I think this information should be there, but if you don't find it for whatever reason, just contact the coordinator. And there is a besides the coordinator of the program, there is a coordinator from UB and another coordinator from URB. Okay?
All right. Thank you.
To validate my understanding a bit, the internship can be recognized as the two things, right? The normal credits as like 6 to 12 max, and then the master thesis, right?
Yeah. So there are two different things.
Okay.
The master thesis is always curricular, right? So it means that it's a course, because in the end it's a course, that it's part of your curriculum and you are doing in a company. And besides that, there are the elective courses, and up to 12 ECTS of your elective courses can be taken with an internship or previous experience, professional experience.
So we can either choose two ways of transferring the credit from internships.
Yeah, but the thing is that once you use 1 hour of work, you can use it only to recognize one ECTS. You cannot duplicate this, you know what I mean? So
okay,
it's
understand.
not that for this you can get the master thesis and 12. No, it doesn't work like that. Huh?
Yes.
One or another.
Okay, thank you.
More questions? Reaching this point, I'm sure that there is someone who is about to ask someone, but it's acting shy, so it's not the moment to be shy and raise their hand. Are there any other questions? But really? Okay, yes, sure. I knew that, it always happens.
This is a bit on administrative side. I enroll in 2 different groups, 11 and 12. I'm in data science. It's okay, right? I do not have to enroll the whole
No,
same
it's
groups.
fine. It's fine. So as long as your groups, subgroups do not overlap, it's fine. One thing that I didn't say, but just to let you know in case that you are not familiar how it works here at FIP, but the theory group, you all go together, okay? But then for the labs, you split. It means that if a course has a subgroup 11 and 12, you are only going to one of them. But you always go to the 10. The 10 is theory, right? And this is common for everybody. And then you split, because for labs it's good that there is a small amount of people, so the lecturers can just go through them, right?
It doesn't have to be the same subgroups.
No.
Okay.
Don't worry about that.
Okay, thank you. That's it.
Any other last-minute question? No? Well, remember this is going to be recorded, so you have all this information there. We will make it available. Also, just be aware that all the emails to your coordinators and the administrative issues, remember what I said. We are happy to have you here, so I'm sure all the lecturers as well. So please have a fluent experience with your lecturers, with your coordinators. Everything will be smoother. You will not be just suffering some misconception, misunderstanding, or whatever. So that's why it's important you talk to them, okay? They will be happy to just talk to you. And that's it from us, from our side. So on behalf of the whole FIP team, welcome, and we hope you enjoy your stay in our masters, and all the best for this, your successful future here at FIP. See you around.